You keep telling yourself home is safe, don't you? Imagine a like-wolf creature that switches from standing on two legs to all fours to tear you apart before the key even hits the lock. And even when you've tremblingly locked the door and collapsed onto the sofa, are you sure you've escaped? Look at the dark corner where your pet dog is sleeping silently. What happens when that pitch-black mass suddenly slowly stands upright, towering to the ceiling, with rippling muscles blocking your only exit? Today we are talking about predators standing right on your porch, and even waiting for you right in your living room. Welcome to the real-life nightmare named Dogman. Dogman chases homeowner to front door. In the remote suburbs of Michigan, a home security camera captured a moment where the line between life and death became thinner than ever. Look closely at the corner of the patio. Just as the homeowner rushed inside, a massive dark figure was already standing there, watching its prey with eyes glowing in the night. It stood upright on two legs like a human, but its stillness radiated the killing intent of an apex predator. The most terrifying part happened right after. Realizing the prey was slipping away, it didn't run like a man, but immediately lowered its center of gravity, shifting to a quadripedal stance. This is a signature trait of the Dogman, shifting posture to maximize speed and lethal force. The moment it lunged forward and shoved its hairy face with glowing yellow eyes right into the lens serves as a brutal reminder. Your front door is not a safety finish line. The lesson here is, never turn your back on the darkness and assume you are safe just because you see the porch light. For this creature, the distance from the gate to the door is more than enough time to tear you apart before you can even get your key in the lock. The neighbor in the cornfield. In a remote cornfield in rural Ohio, a brave, or perhaps suicidal, cameraman decided to follow a bizarre figure walking in broad daylight. Look at the creature's back. It possesses the tall stature of a man, but its upper body is covered in rough, matted black fur, along with pointed ears sprouting from the top of its head. The most terrifying detail is the long tail protruding from its old brown khaki pants, swaying with every step. When it turns around, the true nightmare begins. Its face is not human, but a skull-like hybrid between a sphinx cat and a wolf, with slick gray skin and soulless white glowing eyes. Its body structure is completely abnormal with a sunken chest, but oversized long arms ending in sharp blackened fingers. Why is it walking so calmly in the middle of the day? Perhaps it is confident that its disguise of human clothing is enough, or scarier yet, this is the dear neighbor you greet every morning. Believe it or not depends on your perspective. But if you see your neighbor has a tail, do not be foolish enough to follow and film them. Dogman interrupted. During meal attacks, trail camera. In the dense Blackwood forest, where even veteran hunters dare not venture at night, a trail camera caught a dogman red-handed enjoying its night kill. Initially, it was busily hunched over eating its prey. Pay attention to its physique. Even in a quadripedal stance, the hips and hind limbs reveal bulging muscle masses far larger than any wild wolf. Tragedy struck when the camera likely made a small shutter sound, or the infrared light caught its attention. It slowly stood upright on its hind legs, displaying a horrific hybrid body. Look at that expanded chest and those oversized long arms with gaunt fingers. That is a body structure perfectly designed to tear prey apart, not just for running. It did not flee but advanced straight towards the lens with a gaping mouth full of slime. The lesson here is, when you set up a camera to observe nature, sometimes what stares back is not a bewildered deer, but a monster annoyed at having its dinner disturbed. Dogman staring down trail camera. In the infamous Land Between the Lakes area, where mysterious disappearances remain unsolved, a hunter captured a photo considered the holy grail of cryptozoology. this is not a mangy wolf or a North American black bear. Look straight into those headlight-like glowing eyes piercing through the night. It is staring directly at the lens, and essentially staring right into your soul with mad hatred and hunger. Pay very close attention to the abnormal anatomical structure of this creature. Even in a crouched position for camouflage, its shoulders and forearms reveal bulging, solid masses of muscle, larger than any wild animal you have ever known. The snout, shorter than a typical wolf's, along with the threateningly bared teeth, indicates this is undoubtedly a fully grown dogman in its prime. This photo is terrifying because it proves that the dogman species is fully aware of human technology. They do not flee like wild beasts. They are watching us back. The bloody lesson here is, if you see a pair of glowing eyes in the dark woods, never hope it is fireflies. Run while you still can, because when it grins at you from this close range, your fate is already sealed. The werewolf at the campsite. At a busy campsite where people seek relaxation, a massive, dark figure tore through the peaceful atmosphere. Look at this creature. A werewolf with thick, dark gray fur and a threatening, snarling face walking in broad daylight. Many mockingly say this is just a delusional guy in a costume because the gait looks somewhat forced and stiff in the legs. But observe that leg structure closely. Those are digitigrade legs, walking on toes, characteristic of beasts with elevated heels and reversed knee joints. For a human to mimic this stance, they must use support frames or special stilts, leading to the unnatural movement you see. If this is a costume, this person must be a master artisan to create such terrifying detail, from the claws to the muscles. However, the lesson here is not about judging the quality of the suit. The issue is the line between a prank and a nightmare. You might laugh seeing it under the sun, but what if this thing appeared outside your tent at midnight? Never play with the likeness of monsters because sometimes a perfect imitation attracts the gaze of the real monsters hiding in the shadows. Dogman intruder stalks living room. Do you still reassure yourself that your home is an impenetrable fortress? Rewatch this chilling footage. The homeowner woke up to strange noises, thinking their pet dog was causing trouble. But what was waiting for them at the end of the hallway was not their loyal four-legged friend. Look at the dark figure looming under the archway. Initially, it crouched low, its glowing yellow eyes burning in the darkness like two ghost lights, attempting to mimic the posture of a harmless pet. But the moment of terror arrived when it slowly stood upright. Its body was so massive that its head nearly touched the top of the door frame, with broad shoulders and rippling muscles blocking the entire passage. No domestic dog can transform into a bipedal giant like that. This is a dogman that has silently infiltrated the very heart of a human sanctuary. It stood there, silent and watching, savoring the homeowner's sheer terror. If one night you see your dog suddenly become abnormally large and stand up to look at you, never call its name. Run immediately, because the monster is no longer outside the window. It is already inside the house. Dogman in denim shorts stalks kayaker in the wild waters of the Boundary, waters near the Minnesota border. Look closely at the creature waiting on the gravel bank. Its physique is a grotesque combination of human muscular strength and wolfish savagery. The expanded chest, distinct six-pack abs like a bodybuilder, and long hairy arms hanging down indicate this is a true killing machine. But the detail that sends shivers down your spine is not the snarling wolf head, but the tattered denim shorts it is wearing. Why would a monster wear human clothing? There are two terrifying hypotheses. Either this is a shapeshifter stuck between two forms, or even scarier, This species possesses high enough intelligence to mimic and use human items as trophies after bloody hunts. The fact that it wears clothes proves it knows more about us than we think. The bloody lesson here is, when you are floating on the waters of the boundary waters, you are completely exposed with nowhere to hide. Never think the distance across the water is safe. With the power of those legs, it needs only one leap to tear your fragile kayak apart in the blink of an eye. Leaked DHS footage. Dogman, sprinting in the forest. This is what they do not want you to see. Forget the blurry footage from amateurs. This is a leaked recording labeled by the Department of Homeland Security itself. Look at that monster gliding through the forest. It is not frolicking like a wild animal, but moving with terrifying speed and focus. Observe its posture closely. Although it is rushing close to the ground, the high arching shoulders and abnormally long forearms betray that it is a bipedal creature lowering its center of gravity to hunt or hide. The blur caused by its movement speed proves it is faster than any human reflex. Why does the government have a file on them? The answer is chillingly simple. They know the Dogman is real and are silently monitoring them. The bloody lesson here is, if the nation's top security agency has to be wary of this creature, do you think your flimsy canvas tent means anything? The forest is not a playground. It is the operating zone of entities the government is trying to keep hidden. The quadripedal impostor. At first glance, you might think this is just an oversized black wolf hiding in the dry grass. But freeze the frame and analyze its anatomy, and you will see how miserably this camouflage fails. A normal wolf has a streamlined body built for endurance running, with balanced shoulders and hips. But look at this creature. Its shoulder and neck muscles are abnormally swollen, protruding significantly above its back. This is the sign of a naturally bipedal creature forcing itself into a quadripedal stance, causing the upper body muscles to compress, looking like a bodybuilder crawling. Furthermore, look at its face. Wolves have long, tapered snouts for scenting. This thing possesses a broad skull, a short and flat snout, looking more like the visage of a primate or a bear than a canine. Its eyes do not reflect wildness, but calculation. In nature, body proportions are the key to identification. If you see a wolf that looks like it just walked out of a gym with a monstrous hunched back, do not stand there filming. That is a Dogman in high-speed hunting mode, and it can accelerate faster than any off-road vehicle you have. Dogman in Manasty Forest. This footage was extracted from a trail camera placed deep within the Manasty National Forest, Michigan. This is not a still photo, but a continuous sequence recording the creature sitting in a defensive stance in the middle of the night. With glowing eyes and threateningly bared teeth, it exudes extreme danger. But what makes biologists break out in a cold sweat when watching this clip is not that demonic face, but how it moves. Slow down this moment. It places one hand, yes, a hand with distinct fingers, not a dog's paw, on the ground as a pivot point to push its body up. This is the movement mechanism of a primate or a human, absolutely not that of a wolf. A wolf would spring up on all four legs simultaneously, never using one forelimb to shift weight and gain leverage like a gladiator like that. Immediately after, the video ends with it springing up and letting out a terrifying roar, revealing a mouth cavity wide enough to swallow a human head whole. This footage is undeniable proof that the Dogman in Manasty is a mistake of creation, a grotesque hybrid between bestial strength and human motor intelligence. If you see something in the woods stand up the same way you get off a sofa, do not be curious. Run, because it is about to start its hunt. Dogman breaks farm, fence, and roars at barking dogs. At a quiet farm at night, A barn surveillance camera recorded a lopsided confrontation between two brave house dogs, a corgi and a golden retriever, and a grotesque entity emerging from the shadows. Look at the intruder's physique. It is not a wolf, but a massive dogman with pale, corpse-like white fur. Its body structure exudes abnormality, towering and gangly, with a sunken chest but oversized long arms hanging down, ending in bony human-like fingers gripping the wooden rail. The persistence and noise of the two guard dogs seemed to make the monster lose its patience. It showed no fear. On the contrary, annoyance was clearly visible on its bestial face. With just a slight tug, it snapped the sturdy wooden fence slat like a toothpick, displaying the terrifying muscular strength hidden beneath its skin and bones appearance. Immediately after, it craned its long neck forward, unhinged its gaping maw full of sharp teeth, and unleashed a terrifying roar to intimidate the tiny creatures. Its glowing eyes looked down at the dogs with utter contempt, as if to say, "Silence immediately, or I will turn you into appetizers." Werewolf model at Monster Palooa 2012. Step into Monster Palooa 2012, where humans pat themselves on the back for their makeup talents. But standing before this model, the admiring smile on your lips will vanish, replaced by a chill down your spine. This does not look like a lifeless sculpture, but rather like a lichen head that was just severed and placed on a pedestal while the warmth still remains. Look deep into that gaping maw. The brutality lies not in size, but in the terrifying biological details. Look at the wet sheen of the bloody red gums, the rough texture of the tongue, and especially the yellowed, jagged fangs. Those are not the pearly white teeth of Hollywood movies, but the teeth of a raw meat-eating beast, riddled with bacteria and plaque from bloody meals. How deeply did the artist research to create this? Or, more terrifyingly, is this not a product of imagination? To replicate every strand of sweat-matted fur, every contracting wrinkle on the snout during a snarl with such precision, perhaps the creator did not just consult books. Who knows? Maybe this is a survivor's desperate attempt to show the world the true face of the thing that hunted them in the deep woods. Muscular Dogman. Real beast or high-end costume? This footage is sparking intense debate within the mystery community, and skeptics have every reason to question it. Look at the creature towering by the tree. It possesses a mottled reddish-brown and black coat, and a super soldier physique with biceps and a chest as bulky as a bodybuilder's. It is precisely this physical perfection that is the most suspicious point. Many argue that those muscle masses look too stiff, resembling foam padding inside an expensive Hollywood costume rather than natural muscle and flesh. Furthermore, the biggest issue lies in the filming distance. Why would a wild apex predator allow a human to approach at such a handshaking distance without attacking? Is this a fearless mutant dogman, or just the work of a talented FX artist trying to deceive our eyes? Every detail, from the claws gripping the tree to the soulless gaze, sits on the thin line between truth and fabrication. I will not draw a conclusion. The verdict belongs to your keen eyes. Dogman sprints across road into Cornfield. Look at this grainy footage. What is standing on the roadside is certainly not a stray dog or a coyote. This is a veritable monster of immense proportions being exposed by car headlights. Make a quick comparison. The corn stalks behind it are typically around 6 to 7 feet tall. Even in a semi-crouched stance, its rugged shoulders are level with, or even dominate, the tops of the corn. This reveals its actual standing height must exceed 8 feet. Its physique is a terrifying combination of canine agility and bear-like muscle mass. The upper body is broad and muscular, topped with a massive wolf head and glowing eyes like two ghost lights. As soon as it realizes it has been spotted, it does not panic, but executes a powerful transition. It lowers its center of gravity and rockets across the road on all fours with missile-like speed. Look at the stride length and the motion blur caused by its extreme speed. A normal wild animal cannot generate enough kinetic energy to blur the frame like that. It plunges straight into the opposite brush and vanishes into the night in a split second. Vast cornfields contain not just corn, but are private highways for these nightmares. Human-faced dog enjoys head rubbing, a wrinkled, suffering face with features so human-like it's creepy. The squinting eyes, the pug nose, and especially that mouth with tight lips, absolutely do not belong to a dog. However, before you scream about a genetic disaster, turn on your skepticism. There is something very plastic here. Observe the skin texture closely as the black-gloved hand touches its forehead. The wrinkles bunch up too perfectly and thickly, feeling more like high-end Hollywood silicone than biological flesh. Its elasticity looks a bit matte and lacks the natural sheen of sweat glands or oil found on animal skin. Additionally, the cameraman using black gloves might not be for hygiene, but a common trick of SFX artists to increase contrast and hide connection points if this is an animatronic puppet. Its expression, while vivid, lacks the micro-movements of real facial muscles. It is highly likely this is a hyper-realistic sculpture or a top-tier costume created to test your gullibility. But even if it is fake, who would want to pet a head that looks like a grumpy old man like that? We have traveled a long journey from the dense forests right into the human living room. The fear is real, but if we stop at fear alone, we are no different from trembling prey. The biggest lesson I want you to take away tonight is, never let prejudice cloud your vision. Here at Mystery Caught on Camera, we learn to distinguish between artificial effects and biological movement, between deception and the naked truth. Spotting a fake video is just as important as finding real evidence because it forges a cool head and sharp analytical thinking. If you want to keep peeling back these layers of secrecy with me, hit subscribe and turn on notifications immediately. Do not miss a single clue, because the truth often appears in the blink of an eye. And more importantly, if you want me to keep dragging these creatures into the light, signal me by typing the keyword Dogman in the comments below. Show me that you are ready to face what comes next. I'm John. Always observe and never stop questioning.